What's up, everybody? This is Battlefield97 here, giving you the April gaming pickup video. And just like how I announced my last gaming pickup video covering January to March, I'm mainly focusing on physical games instead of physical plus digital games because, well, I have enough income on me to buy a lot of physical games, used and new alike. So, of course, let's get this out of the way and go with original Xbox games. So, yeah, last month I bought like a total of 10 plus new PSP games from a local mom and pop store that has now moved upstate to New York and New Jersey because they couldn't really afford the place that they were in, so they moved upstate. So, of course, they had a 50% off sale, and I bought most of their PSP library, and I definitely don't regret that very day, especially with most of them being brand new. So, of course, I had to fill in the void, and since my Xbox 360 is compatible with half of the original Xbox library, I thought, you know what? Why not play some 6th-gen games on my 7th-gen console? Since I never really experienced some of the games in the original Xbox's library, I thought, why not? So, of course, I bought a total of 9 original Xbox games, courtesy of Video Games New York. Look them up if you live in Manhattan or New York City. Definitely a fantastic place to buy games and accessories. Very good store. So anyhow, 8 of the games are compatible on the Xbox 360. You just need a hard drive and update your system to the current, file or safe. But one of them is definitely not compatible with the Xbox 360, and you'll know why. So, of course, I have to start the one game that you need to have for an original Xbox collection, and that is the original, the OG, the game that brought the original Xbox on the map, Halo Combat Evolved. Now, of course, you can see that I still have not got rid of the wrapping of this cover, this case, and the reason for that is, well, I haven't put this on my 360 yet, because, well, I already have the digital version of the original Xbox version on my Xbox 360, which you can search in the Xbox store on your 360 and download it and buy. And of course, I have the anniversary version of the original Combat Evolved on the Xbox 360, and you can also get this along with Halo 2, Halo 3, and all the other Halo games in the Master Chief Collection on Xbox One. Definitely, there's a lot of versions of... Oh, and also in the PC as well, developed by Gearbox Software. So there's a lot of versions of the original Halo, and why not? The original Halo is an absolute classic, and despite certain levels, like with the Flood and certain Mace, if you get what I'm talking about, it definitely hasn't aged well on those certain bits, but definitely it's still a classic to this very day. And yeah, I absolutely love the cover art of this, and even the back is pleasantly aesthetic for me. So yeah, Halo Combat Evolved, I only paid for like $10 for this, and it's perfectly good condition for a used copy. So yeah, original Xbox collection, you definitely need to have Halo. And then, of course, since I already have the third game in the franchise on the Xbox 360, Max Payne 2, Max Payne 3 on the Xbox 360, definitely one of my favorite games in 2012, definitely my top 10. I wanted to get the previous 2 games in the franchise on the Xbox, that is Max Payne and Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne, completing the Max Payne trilogy on the Xbox side, right over here. Now, of course, you can see, just like with Halo Combat Evolved, I haven't got rid of the wrappings for Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne, and the reason for that is because, well, I'm halfway through the original Max Payne on my 360. But, I played a bit of Max Payne 2 back in the day along with Max Payne 1, and they're very, very good games with excellent war storytelling, Max Payne being my favorite character of all time. And the gameplay, despite certain aspects of it not aging well, still holds up in certain aspects, and definitely is fun being able to use bullet time in the environment and killing your enemies with variety of weapons. Definitely fantastic games to own in your collection. Original Xbox, PlayStation 2, PC, and hell, even mobile devices. I'm not certain if Max Payne 2 is in mobile devices, but definitely is. Oh, and also on PC. Definitely fantastic games to own on PC as well. And of course, this is the one game that isn't compatible on the Xbox 360, but I bought it anyway because I'm a fan of this franchise. And that is the subsistence version of Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty that at the time was only on the original Xbox until later down the road it was ported on PlayStation 2, PC, and then a generation later, it was HDified on the HD collection for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and of course on the Vita. So if you already bought the HD collection or the HD version of Metal Gear Solid 2, you don't have to worry. All the content that is in this version that was only on the original Xbox back in the day is in the HD version. So yeah, Reason I even bought this, even though I can't really play it on my 360 as well. Yoji Ishikawa's artwork with Solid Snake is fantastic, and just the case in general, in front and back, is pleasantly aesthetic for me, just like with Halo Combat Evolved. And yeah, when I do get an original Xbox, this is the first game I'm definitely going to be popping in the system. So yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2 Subsistence, fantastic game. And then another exclusive for the original Xbox that I think is underrated as all hell is Brute Force. Despite halfway through the campaign being hard as hell in that volcanic planet, definitely is a fantastic game with a variety of class characters to go through each mission, each planet. Definitely a fantastic game to own. And then, of course, I bought Metal Gear Solid 2 Subsistence, so I wanted to get another stealth game, but this time being able to use it on the Xbox 360. And that is the third iteration of the Thief franchise, Thief Deadly Shadows. Even though it's kind of not good compared to the previous two Thief games that are on PC, Thief Deadly Shadows is still a fantastic stealth game, especially on consoles with the way the use of lighting and darkness. Just like an example like the old Splinter Cell games from Ubisoft, if I can make an example out of that. But definitely, aside from the character models not aging well, the environment, thanks to the art style and direction that the director went with, it's just absolutely fantastic to this very day. And it still looks pretty good in HD TV, aside from the character models. So yeah, Thief Deadly Shadows, fantastic stealth game from Ion Storm. And then of course, I played this on the PlayStation 3, the HD version of it from a PS Plus freebie. But I bought the original version of it on the original Xbox, and this wasn't exclusive back in the day. And that is the third Oddworld game, Oddworld Munch's Oddysee. Definitely an underrated game within the Oddworld franchise. Go get it. Just go get it. And of course, I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man. I'm a huge fan of Captain America. I've already rewatched all the movies that Captain America is in on Blu-ray. And I even watched all the Spider-Man movies from Mark Webb and Sam Raimi. So definitely, and of course, how could I not forget, where's the ticket? There it is. Definitely, can't wait for Captain America Civil War. I bought my ticket. Tomorrow I'm going to be watching it with a group of avid fans near my area. So definitely it's going to be a fantastic showing for me. So I'm definitely was in the Spider-Man gaming craze. So last month, in my last gaming pickup video in March, I bought the PlayStation 3 version of Spider-Man 3. And I wanted to continue with my Spider-Man game marathon. So I bought Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, both on the original Xbox. You want my quick opinion on it? Spider-Man 1 is below average nowadays. Certain missions you have to repeat multiple times because of the unfair difficulty spike. And you definitely have to be lucky as all hell in order to pass through some of them. But Spider-Man 2 definitely, just like with the movie, is better than the first one and definitely holds up to this very day. So I highly recommend just getting Spider-Man 2 over Spider-Man 1. But if you play Spider-Man 1 as a kid like me and feel nostalgic, then get Spider-Man 1. But Spider-Man 2, the video game and the movie, definitely still holds up to this very day. Go get it. Go get it on original Xbox, PlayStation 2, or the GameCube. So yeah, that's a total of 9 original Xbox games added into my gaming collection. But of course, I bought some games in a successor, the Xbox 360, with 4 games in total. And of course, when I got my Xbox 360 back in late 2010 as a Christmas gift, this is one of those games that I wanted to play as is an exclusive. And that is the original Dead Rising. Now, I played the sequel, Dead Rising 2, on the PlayStation 3, and I wanted to play the Xbox Live games and Dead Rising 1, which were exclusive to the Xbox 360 still to this very day. So I bought it and played the game back in the day, and I really, really still love this exclusive. Despite certain aspects of the game being much harder than its successor, Dead Rising 2, like only having one save file, certain missions you can't really get through because it's time-based, the game. So you really have to replay it multiple times in order to get the full scope of the Willamette outbreak. But definitely Frank West is an interesting character, definitely the average Joe that I can connect to. And even though the storyline is cheesy and average at best for a zombie story, it definitely is still a fantastic game with the way you can use multiple items, even like an umbrella to kill a bunch of zombies. A horde of them in the Willamette Wall definitely is a fantastic game to own on your Xbox 360. Definitely worth it. And of course, I played the director's cut of it on PlayStation 3 from a PlayStation Plus freebie, but I bought the original version of it because why not? And that, of course, is the cult classic Deadly Premonition from 2010. And definitely, it's a game that is for a very few selected people. Like, if you love the Twin Peaks TV show, if you love off-the-wall, kooky, crazy kind of games, then I do recommend getting Deadly Premonition and its Director's Cut on PlayStation 3. More content, graphics are at least upscaled and smooth compared to this version of the game. So yeah, Deadly Premonition. And of course, I bought the sequel of it, Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days, last year in July, and I wanted to get the original Kane and Lynch on my Xbox 360, but I wanted to get it very cheap, but I found the opportunity to get it with Kane and Lynch Dead Men. And definitely I love this more than Dog Days, aside from its gameplay mechanics, because Dog Days is a lot more smooth compared to the gameplay mechanics in Dead Men, where you're able to shoot your weapons much smoother than it is in Kane and Lynch 2 compared to the original. But definitely the storyline and the characters are much more intriguing in Dead Men than they are in Dog Days. So yeah, I definitely recommend this for something really different in the storyline. Unlikable characters going through it and doing horrible, horrible shit. Much more than, say, any of the Grand Theft Auto characters. So yeah, Kane and Lynch Dead Men, kind of a game that is for the faint of heart. And of course, is May the 4th be with you day. And I just bought this anyway. It might be the perfect time when I finish this video. I may play a bit of Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Now, this is a brand new copy of the game, even though it was technically sort of used in the GameStop that I bought it with. But definitely one of my favorite EU storylines in the Star Wars mythology. I absolutely love how Darth Vader has a secret apprentice, though that definitely isn't canon anymore thanks to Disney. But yeah, gameplay, you're sort of like this rogue Jedi, basically throwing your lightsaber across enemies, decapitating stormtroopers using the Force in horrendous ways. It feels like you're a god playing this game, and it definitely is one of my favorite Star Wars games of all time. Can't say much for the sequel, because the sequel is really bad. So, of course, I'm going to be showing off my Wii U collection that I bought last month in April. 2 games brand new and 1 of them being used. And of course, when I saw this in my local GameStop, I was like, my jaw dropped, because seeing this in the wild in GameStop is a rare opportunity. And what I mean by that is a brand new copy of Devil's Third, one of the rarest Wii U games imaginable for North Americans and I believe Europeans. Or Japanese, I think they have tons of copies of this, for what I remember. But yeah, Devil's Third, I remember this game getting slammed by critics in Europe and in America. And when that happened, Nintendo of America basically shipped out like very few physical units in multiple GameStops, like only having two copies in each GameStop across the country. So yeah, this thing is a rarity to find, and when I saw this in the shelf, I needed to get this immediately, along with some other PlayStation 3 games, which I'm going to show later on in this video. But yeah, Devil's Third, I believe, is quite underrated. The multiplayer is the highlight, of course. Definitely has tons of content that normally any Wii U game with online multiplayer wouldn't have, especially the likes of Call of Duty. So, and the single player is kooky, off the wall, that you expect from Tomonoko Itagaki, as he's the creator of the Dead or Alive franchise. And if you play the storylines in any of those fighting games, you'll be at home with the storyline of Devil's Third. It's kooky, off the wall. It's completely unnecessary, but yeah, once in a while you need something really off the wall to get your kinks. So Devil's Third, definitely one of those rare Wii U games that will be extremely pricey later down the road when the Wii U is discontinued. Well, possibly may discontinue very soon, because Nintendo announced the NX and yada 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 yada. But definitely, if you see this in the wild, even though you're not sure if the game's good or not, just buy it anyway. If, you know, for the sake of selling this later down the road for $100 or $120 in eBay. That's how I look at it. And of course, I'm a fan of this franchise and wanted a new installment on the console side of things, and that is Star Fox Zero. And this is the first print unit of it. That includes not only Star Fox Zero, the physical copy of it, but also the eShop title Star Fox Guard. Now, as you can see, I have not opened my copy of Star Fox Guard. That's because I'm still replaying missions in Star Fox Zero for the highest completionist score. And I absolutely love Star Fox Zero. Yeah, the tactile motion controls are annoying at first, but I got used to it like in 5 to 10 minutes. And you can always go on the settings and turn off always on motion controls to a little bit of motion controls. And this is coming from someone who played through most of the game lying down in bed with the gamepad. So it's not like with playing a game on the Wii mode and lying down, you're not going to get precision motion controls. So yeah, at least I'm able to lie down while play Star Fox Zero. So that's something. And yeah, it definitely is one of those games where I can sort of not agree with the critics, being a sort of return to forward for the franchise. And yeah, Platinum Games definitely adds in a ton of their style for this game, and I absolutely love it. Star Fox Zero, if you're a fan of the franchise, definitely get this, because maybe the only Wii U game that you may give a shit about this year getting. Or if you're not already sold your Wii U and games for a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. And of course, as I stated earlier before in this video, I am a huge Spider-Man fan. I've bought Spider-Man 1 and 2 on the original Xbox, Spider-Man 3 on the PlayStation 3, and I got all the movies on Blu-ray. So I wanted to at least try out this game for quite a while, but I wanted to get all the DLC content because looking at the digital side of things for this game, all the DLC is gone. It might have been removed and then Activision brought it back in the store, but all the DLC is gone. But thank God with this version intact, and what I mean by that is the Ultimate Edition of The Amazing Spider-Man, including 4 of the DLC pack that makes you play as Stan Lee, the creator of Spider-Man, Rhino Challenges, the Lizard Rampage pack, the Obsquart Search and Destroy pack, and 2 DLC Spider-Man suits. The Vigilante suit that Peter Parker uses in the Amazing Spider-Man movie, and of course the classic OG Spider-Man suit that is used in the Sam Raimi films. So it's definitely really, really cool being able to use those suits. And yeah, aside from me just buying this game because I wanted to get all the DLC out of the way, and another game in my Spider-Man movie video game collection, my thoughts of the video game is that it kind of is a downgrade from Spider-Man 3, but at least it's somewhat stable compared to Spider-Man 3, at least on the PlayStation 3 side of things. Because for some reason with The Amazing Spider-Man, you're now able to web swing through the air again, even though in Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3, and even Ultimate Spider-Man, you were able to, you had to web swing close to buildings in order to traverse through the environment. But in here, you can traverse through the environment through the air. And it's like, what? This is like a downgrade. At least from the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man games and even the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man game. Of course, I understood. So yeah, this is a time skip in editing because I ran out of memory on my phone. And I'm basically going to skip what I said with the Amazing Spider-Man Ultimate Edition on the Wii U. Basically, it's an average movie license game. It's better than Spider-Man 3 the game, but definitely not better than Spider-Man 2. So let's get it over with so I don't have to do this for the 3rd or 4th time in a take. Because goddamn, my phone is running out of memory. Anyhow, for the PlayStation side of things, we're going for the PS3 with 3 used games. Of course, Spider-Man Marathon in video game format, so Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. Quite an interesting linear style game going back to the previous Spider-Man games before the movie games came about, like Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro. Basically, it's a linear style storytelling where you're basically playing as 4 different Spider-Mans: Amazing Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, Noir Spider-Man, and Spider-Man 2099 with different gameplay mechanics. So definitely it's a refreshing take on the character in video game format. And yeah, any of you who like Spider-Man and the comic books are definitely going to be at home with Shattered Dimensions. You can get this on PS3, 360, PC, I guess, and other platforms that this is available on. And of course, even though this is a used copy that I got in GameStop, it basically has a not for sale in the back of the case, and definitely felt like it's a new copy instead of a used one. But it's the special edition for Street Fighter Cross Tekken on the PlayStation 3. And my thoughts on the game itself, well, definitely not as better as a fighting game crossover event like Capcom vs. SNK games, but definitely is still a very interesting take on the Tekken characters in Street Fighter format. And yeah, aside from the gem system being broken as all hell, I actually sort of enjoy it in short bursts for Street Fighter Cross Tekken. And yeah, if you're a fighting game fan, if you're a fan of the Street Fighter and Tekken franchise, then if you've not gotten this game yet, then you might as well have this. And especially on the PlayStation 3 for the exclusive content of Cole, Mega Man, and Pac-Man as playable characters. And of course, I paid $18 for a used copy of a worse game, the worst game in the 7th generation of consoles, and definitely brought really terrible memories in 2007 or 2008 as a Christmas gift, and I'm talking about Sonic the Hedgehog, or commonly referred in the internet to distance itself from the classic Sega Genesis title, is Sonic 06, a game that was supposed to celebrate Sonic's 50th anniversary along with the Genesis port of the Sega, a Game Boy Advance port of the original Sega Genesis Sonic the Hedgehog. Basically, those two games were a travesty for the Sonic franchise, and ever since then, Sonic has been made a laughingstock within the game community, and to be honest, yeah, this game is really, really bad. Holy shit, I wasted $18 for this. Fucking help me. And of course, I had to get some games for the PlayStation 4, and thank God they were exclusives and not third parties, and I paid $40 4 days in advance before this game would even hit store shelves for a worldwide audience, and that is Ratchet & Clank 2016, the remake of the classic PS2 title that is also based on the movie, and the movie based on the game, so yeah, it's a clusterfuck thinking. And yeah, someone who played the original Ratchet & Clank game back in the day, didn't really finish it, and played a bit of Quest for Booty when I got that as a European freebie. Ratchet & Clank 2016 is not that bad of a game. Definitely doesn't set the bar high for platformers or shooters in general, but Ratchet & Clank 2016 is a very fun exclusive, and considering how I saw the movie that is based on this game, the movie is based on the game, right over here in the 29th of April, the lighting of the camera is really bad. So yeah, the movie is kind of a condensed version of the 2016 remake, and it's kind of average at best. Not as worse as the critics make it out to be, but definitely average at best. So yeah, Ratchet & Clank 2016, the video game, definitely a very good remake, and a definite exclusive to have on the PS4. And of course, another exclusive that I got, I had this as a rental in GameFly, and my brother bought this digitally, but I wanted to get my own copy of the game, so I can go over that stupid licensing thing that Sony has done for their PS4 and even the Vita. And I'm talking about Infamous Second Son, the limited edition that I bought, that includes Cole's Legacy, the jacket, and the missions that come along with it. So yeah, it's a nice little purchase to have for a game that honestly I think is pretty good in an 8 out of 10 sort of way, not like a around 7 out of 10 kind of scores that I see for this game back when it was in 2014. And definitely I remember giving this game high praise in my top 10 games of 2014. So yeah, this is one of those exclusives early on in the PS4's life that definitely was one of the games to have in your collection. And thank God I have that now in my collection. And yeah, the craziest thing I ever did was actually paying $110 for a memory card, the PlayStation Vita, 64 gigabytes to actually hold more than 2 or 3 games in my system. And it is a good investment because I have over 40 plus games, PS1, PSP, and Vita titles all together in one system, and I only have 12 or 15 gigabytes left on the system. So yeah, definitely it's a bitter pill to swallow, but it definitely is worth it at the end for the investment. And of course, I got these from Goodwill itself, the PSP version of Tekken 5, Tekken Dark Resurrection. It was brand new, it wasn't used or anything, so that's something. I haven't put this on my PSP yet, so I can't really say anything about it. I think I got $5 or $6. And of course, I should have ended this video right here, right now, but I wanted to really talk about this because this is a really interesting Blu-ray that I bought in Goodwill along with Tekken Dark Resurrection. And that, of course, is the Welcome to PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Network instructional Blu-ray that I believe Sony gave out to stores like Best Buy, GameStop, etc., in order for the employees to talk about the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation Network for consumers. And despite the cover, the front and back of the case being the Slim PS3 and even the fonts for the Slim PS3, the videos, the montages, the ads that are in this Blu-ray, which let me open, that are in this Blu-ray, and even in the Blu-ray disc itself, it has the original PlayStation 3 Spider-Man font and showcases advertisements that has the fat PS3 model at the end of it. And yeah, this is kind of legit in a way and not some kind of ROM hack that Goodwill will just sell anyway, because, well, it has an instructional manual that advertises not only the PlayStation 3 games, but also the features of PlayStation Network, and even the games like, say, Fat Princess, Ratchet & Clank, The Quest for Booty, Payne, Ragdoll Kung Fu, a crack in time and infamous. So yeah, this definitely is the real deal. And also advertises the PSP. So yeah, this is definitely a worthwhile investment for someone like me to have some PlayStation 3 history in my Blu-ray collection. And yeah, I can experience how a GameStop employee must feel when having this on their TVs to show advertisements for the PS3. So that's about it. Yeah, so that's about it for my April gaming pickup video from original Xbox, Xbox 360, the Wii U, the PS3, the PS4, etc., etc., etc. I hope you enjoy this video. Give it a like, favorite, and subscribe. Leave a comment on what's the favorites that I got on my collection. This is Battlefield Joe 97. Catch you guys later.